what does Sal do?
Well, Salvatore knows he has sacrificed something. He knows he has gained something. And in the ever changing political atmosphere of Milwaukee that he doesn't understand, he thinks that this may be a great opportunity to be someone else's knife for a while.
The coterie finished up Elysium, and as you're leaving Elysium, you start to get that like pain at the sort of base of your skull, and you get flashes of this tree and stuff like that, and it becomes apparent to Salvatore that uh, the tree's not through with him. So I'd imagine as the rest of the coterie sort of filters out, heads out, maybe to hunt or tie up some loose ends of their own, you call up Jimmy with his fancy new haircut.
Shouldn't have cut it shorter. Yeah, so Sal would call Jimmy and just have him take him to the parking lot at Hubbard Park. He doesn't take Jimmy anywhere close to the tree, but tells him to wait there in the parking lot and would make his way into the park alone.
Okay. Um, do you make sure that you're not followed or anything like that, or
Um, I don't think Salvatore worries about that until he gets to the tree, and then he would look around feeling in his element.
Sal, as he approaches the tree, kind of gives a glance around. Apart from the usual suspects, the spirits, that is, um, there doesn't appear to be any like sundown or any sort of funny business. Whatever must have been tailing the coterie out of Elysium. One, you shook it, and two, if it got the trail of the coterie back, it doesn't seem to be interested in Salvatore specifically, or at least that Salvatore's aware. So you wind off the sort of beaten path through these game trails, and you find yourself at the base of the tree. These spirits are luminescent more so than usual. They sort of, we have the moon sort of like heading towards its new moon phase, so it's just this sliver crescent at this point, and you can see uh, the in the sort of darker night than the previous two for your sacrifice. The spirits themselves around the tree are out in abundance. They are almost giving off their own little sort of moonbeams at this point. And much like before, as you walk towards the tree, you can almost see the root structure beneath thump in stride, almost like a heartbeat. And you can see these little red pulses go out as you walk toward the tree. You hear the voice once more whisper, sacrifice of limb, loss, kin. This is your third and final sacrifice, and you've chose to keep it out.
Sal kind of steps to the base of the tree, and in that very cinematic way that uh, it always happens when blood is drawn, he just cuts the the near the wrist on the hand, um, and presses his palm to the I guess the flesh of the tree or the bark, um, letting it kind of seep into the tree. Um, and with that, he swears an oath and provides that sacrifice, and he says, "A sacrifice of kin you shall have. With me, this bloodline ends. I forsake the powers of my blood to continue this line." And he feels the blood just kind of pulse as it, that squeezing gesture of the hand as he works as much of his vitae out onto the bark of the tree, kind of seeing it run down in rivulets to the base of the tree where it patters into that ground. You know, the dead leaves and the moss and the lichen just kind of soaking up that blood.
You see the bark of the tree become luminescent with the sort of mirror of your vitae. As it trickles down, it also seems to illuminate upward in these geometric patterns that are at once beautifully natural and completely like geometric and like unnatural, like unnaturally like angled and straight, and it's just this sort of like goes upward, and you can see all the branches above illuminate, and you can see them all begin to like almost sort of get forced into a forced spring as little buds of these sort of uh, green and red veined leaves. They look very natural, if not for your auspex, where you can see that that red pigment isn't the normal, sort of ruby that you see in some of these trees in the spring. You can see the sort of like beating heart now, thumping in your chest in time with these leaves. Your sacrifice of kin is you are Hakata no more.
Dell just kind of draws in a breath and exhales that calm, cool manner, and he just kind of spreads his arms and takes in the I guess glow, the ambient tree, and the strange kind of fractal pattern, and you see that reflected in the slate, almost black eyes of his.
Um, as Sal sort of offers up his vitae, he can feel the tree almost take too much. You sort of instantly gain, like, just rocket up to 3 hunger as the beast begins to recoil within you. The beast is sort of at times a heightened sense of survival, and it tries to recoil from the tree. You can feel frenzy begin to take over until sort of barbs from this tree in turn accept you into it, and the beast is subdued, and Sal himself's vision is taken by this sort of dark light. The sort of like the dark of Sal's eyes become awash with almost a void. Um, and you sort of cast your eyes back, and you sort of recall seeing the stars before all goes black, and you wake up in the backseat of Jimmy's car. You can hear the roar of the engine. Um, you can see like the sort of blinking red and green lights as he passes from stoplight to to traffic light and so on and so forth, and he's sort of like alternating between like trying to beat the red lights and perfectly landing on a green, and it's causing this sort of kaleidoscope of colors in the back seat where you find yourself laying. Um, for a moment, you look at sort of your hands, and you see that flash of those black veins again, and then it's normal. Uh,
Rubs the back of his neck and sits up, kind of taking in where he is.
Jimmy's hair, in its sort of shorter haircut that you've maybe not quite come accustomed yet, he's like, I know better than to ask you what that was all about there, boss.
Yeah, like your haircut. We won't talk any more about it.
He's like, but get the sense that those spirits in that tree are just getting started with you, huh, boss? And he turns around, and you can see his eyes are blacked out, and he begins to have tree branches come curling and furling and coming out of his mouth as they begin to take over the whole car. And you quick shoot up underneath the tree again. It's just a normal tree.
Shit.
You're not sure how long you've been laying here, but that throbbing in your skull has abated. And now you have this sort of cold empty where your vitae should be. You can feel the beast's hunger beginning to come back online, and you're not quite certain how long it's been. but you worry that that might be the cracks of dawn up ahead. You frantically begin rushing through the woods. Um, you and the beast now matching in step, running away from the tree as the echoes of a voice in your head begin to whisper ancient, unknowable secrets that you suddenly, well, have the Rosetta Stone for. Your mind is cast back to the limb that you were first gifted, and the altar, the fantastical altar it will make for you in your haven. But now, haven seems pretty far away. Maybe the train bridge, maybe that's where you run. When suddenly you sort of burst from the tree line into one of the sort of lesser used parking lots. It's a little bit overgrown. You're not quite certain if you headed the right direction back towards where Jimmy was when you see a black Lincoln sedan with fully tinted windows, or a black Lincoln SUV with electric blue lights pull up. Um, get in quickly. Abigail Winters opens the door.
Thou will pile into the vehicle.
Her driver tears up the far too early or far too late streets of Milwaukee as they head to an unceremonious and unbecoming of someone of her stature nearby hotel. Like a Motel 6 style thing. You quick get inside right as the first cracks of sunlight begin to crest over the horizon, and the blackout drapes are already drawn, and there are black body bags currently vacant, but perfectly capable of removing any threat of light should you sleep in them. And as you can feel dawn lull your sort of vampiric body into that comatose state, Abigail puts a hand on your shoulder and says, as fellow Chicago natives, or fellow denizens of Chicago, I have a proposal. And she, with her finger, her thumbnail, cuts her wrist, and you can see her vitae. The beast is hungry, but also something else in you is being offered. Well, you're not even quite certain what she's offering just yet, but you've.
I mean,
Well, what does Sal do?
well, Salvatore knows he has sacrificed something. He knows he has gained something. And in the ever changing political atmosphere of Milwaukee that he doesn't understand, he thinks that this may be a great opportunity to be someone else's knife for a while. So, with every bit of his flaw, which is always inherent in him as a Bond junkie, Salvatore drinks.
We'll go into the details later. As you hungrily sort of accept the bond. For now, we rest, and she helps you into your body bag after your eyes racing with the pulsing in the veins of the tree, racing with this powerful blood. You swear you almost taste the abyss in it itself. As your sort of thoughts all go black with the bag zipping up. And we'll call it there.